What is going on, guys? Brandon here. It is Wednesday, April 19th, 2023. We have the trifecta update and the big three liquidity indicators update. Just an incredible time, really an incredible time to be alive. We've got Bitcoin being attacked by all sides, by governments, by alphabet soup agencies. We've got the dollar being attacked. We have bonds under attack and being sold off at 3.6% here, as you can see. And it's really a time that tries men's souls, as Thomas Paine, aptly told us hundreds of years ago. We're in that time again. We're in a fourth turning. It's time to get prepared. It's time to get resilient. Time to get independent. And again, we beat this drum every day, but it is the two things that my missions, my mission, the two of the big things of my mission are to educate the most amount of people and get people prepared. The more you are prepared with things outside the system: Bitcoin, gold, silver, food, energy, water, land, guns, ammo, lead, and community, building people around you physically, literally, and then also people online, digitally, all across the world that you can get help from and that you can help. That's the number one thing in a survival situation. We are entering that time. I don't think there's anyone here within shouting distance of my voice that can sit here and honestly say that, well, we're entering an unbelievable time and it's going to be just easy sailing here going forward and smooth waters ahead. It's anything but that. And that's where it's incumbent on, I feel, myself and any others who and you listening, people that are in the know, that are paying attention, that actually study these things, not the Janet Yellens of the world, not affirmative action picks, people that have no idea, that live in clown world. They have broken brain syndrome, broken brain disease, BBD, got a case of BBD, and they can't tell they're behind from their elbow. That is the people, those are the people that are running the world right now. They're people that are hell-bent on running your life, and they think that they are sent here by either God or by Satan, I don't know who at this point, to control and run your life because they are inherently better than you are. And this has been a problem for hundreds of years, really for thousands of years, but we have a chance at changing that. But it starts with knowing what's going on, right? The bond market, again, not much change from yesterday, the last day or so here. But again, some things of note, though, like, again, the U.S. mortgage applications fall sharply, which is not the time of year that you want this to be happening. You want this to be ticking up. Mortgage applications in the U.S. declined 8.8% in the week and ended this week, reversing from a 5.3% rise in the previous week as higher interest rates impacted demand. The average interest rate for 30-year fixed rates jumped back up 13 basis points to 6.43%. Wild. Over double what we were seeing, a year ago, 12, 15, 16 months ago. The first increase first such increase in 6 weeks, and compared to a 2-month low of 6.3. Applications to purchase a home sank 10%, and those to refinance a home went down 5.8%. So, again, we have rough waters ahead for those that are truly watching what's going on, and this is why we talk about getting prepared. And the more prepared you are, getting independent and resilient from the system, then you can sleep well at night, and then you aren't the one running people over trying to stock up on toilet paper. You are the one helping others. You aren't part of the problem, you're part of the solution. So we'll go into here to the DXY and see what's going on the DXY. Just sub 102, so not a ton of movements on these here today. The dollar index steadied around 102 on Wednesday as traders reassess the outlook for the Federal Reserve monetary policy. We talked about some of the other Fed presidents. The St. Louis Fed president yesterday, but St. Louis Fed President James Bullard shared with Reuters favoring a higher terminal rate between 5.5% and 5.75% to subdue persistent inflation, which and then again here we have another Fed president. So we got a bunch here in the last few days talking and flapping their gums. Raphael Bostic told CNBC he saw a final 25 basis point hike before the pause to assess the impact on the economy. So he's already kind of telegraphing a pause in the future here, which markets will like overall. Markets are currently pricing an 86% chance the Fed would raise the Fed funds rate by a quarter point in May. So this is really interesting. But again, this is consistent with all the other Fed presidents. They're all on the same page here. A lot of times they talk out both sides of their mouth just to send out trial balloons on different days, just to see how the economy and how people react. Because again, we're in a fiat system. It's not backed by anything. It's backed by debt, but it's backed truly by fiat. Just people flapping their gums, a narrative. So This is consistent though again with the other Fed presidents saying that, hey, we need to get this down, we need to get this inflation down, and we still see hikes in the future. And again, you've seen this downtrend here obviously over the last 6 months of bond, or sorry, the DXY, the dollar relative strength compared to another basket of worthless currencies. You can see that it has been going down. The weakening of the dollar, which has led to asset prices really going up for the most part, in general, for the and then a lot of risk off assets, a true risk off asset like Bitcoin going up, basically almost doubling from its low in the last 6 months. And you've seen gold and silver shoot up, gold nearing its all-time highs because of this liquidity. So now we have the weakening of the dollar. So we have this sell-off in bond rates, so bonds being bought up in general over the last 6 months or so, and you have an easing of those rates, which is pretty hard to imagine considering where we are right now. But that has led to these, as well as these bank failures and some crazy stuff happening the last month or so, month and a half. That's led people to really jumping into these true risk-off assets, Bitcoin, gold, and silver. And that's why you've seen these huge spikes, basically, again, Bitcoin doubling over the last 6 months because of the liquidity being pumped in the system and the craziness, the chaos. Bitcoin is the ultimate risk-off, chaos, hedge asset. Gold and silver were for thousands of years, and they're good 1B and 1C instruments for the analog world in case absolute worst case asteroid hits the Earth type scenario. So you still need a little bit. Again, not saying those things couldn't happen; they could happen. The risk is the chances are small. So I don't, personally, I don't put and I'm not buying myself any more gold and silver and things like that necessarily, other than fun stuff or jewelry and things like that, which I think everyone should have to cross borders and stuff. But that's why we get prepared. So we want to see what is truly going on, so we can be ready for all situations, because we know that there's not a 0% chance 0% chance anything happens. So we need to risk mitigate properly. And that's why that is so important, so incredibly important. So let me find where that thing went. And anyway, can't find let's find the end of the big three here, which is crude oil. So crude oil taking a real hit here, 2% down to $79 a barrel. And let's see what they say about crude. WTI crude futures dropped 2% to around $79 a barrel on Wednesday, moving further away from a 5-month peak of $83.50 hit in earlier April, as worries that higher interest rates could dampen the growth kept investors on edge. So again, something we always talk about every single time, that when oil is going down is generally a lot of times because there's either tons of production coming online for some reason, or you have weakening economy outlooks. You have people thinking, oh, you know what, they're going to be raising rates, the economy's not going to be that great going forward. This is, again, consistent with the Fed president saying, hey, we're going to need more rate hikes to get down to 2%. So investors saying, oh, man, this ain't good. The economy is going to get slowed down because of what the rate hikes are going to do, what the Fed presidents are saying. So we need to, so oil sells off. So that is the big three. And then what are the big three liquidity indicators saying? Gold is at $1,984 an ounce, and silver spiked up today a bunch. Actually, it was like at $25.60 earlier, I believe, when I saw it. So a big spike up in silver, not as much in gold. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin's down to $29,000, so that's pretty wild, actually. I know it was down to around 29.5 earlier. So again, holding very steady though overall. And the reason I'm not questioning this, but I'll have to look into this and see what exactly is going on. So I don't know if there's other news coming out. I don't know. Who knows? Could have another Ponzi scheme, FTX collapse, or something like that. I don't think it's been anything crazy, but you just have people selling off. Maybe you have a whale selling off. So overall, this has held very well. Even Bitcoin holding at 15, 16, 17, 18 so well for a number of months while big things collapsed. Then really over the next couple of months spiking up and going 100% gain, doubling up to 30,000 really is a wake-up call for a lot of people, especially the people in the mainstream media. There's still a lot of broken brain disease out there. People don't understand, don't get it, and still calling Bitcoin, Tulamania. You always see these dumb comments, and people just don't get it. So I can't show you today if Bitcoin's running, but again, did a transaction earlier. I was on Spaces all day talking to people about Bitcoin. So I know firsthand, again, doing a transaction, sending Bitcoin
and transferring wallets again, that I know it is working. And again, I was on Spaces all day long for hours and hours, and I know someone there, if Bitcoin was not working, would have said something as well. So I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. We got a little bit of a different version today because we're hoping to get our computer back. So wish me luck on that, to hopefully getting the desktop iMac back here at the end of the week. And see Bitcoin here, this jump up over the last few months, pretty wild stuff. So hopefully get that back. We can get back to our normal, routine, get back to doing our interviews. And I got a number of interviews that are coming out here. They're already recorded. We're going to be getting out. And then we're going to be a lot of fresh ones, a lot of people that are basically geared up and kind of tentatively scheduled to be doing it. I think you're really going to enjoy. So let me know who you would like to see, who, us talk to, just in general. It could be anybody. And I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. It's not financial advice, it's freedom advice. Please question everything with boldness. Do your own research. Trust but verify. Please share the signal, though. Please share the signal and noise, because the algorithm hates truth. And the more we educate each other, the faster we will have Bitcoin adoption, but free, sound money adoption, and a higher standard of living and lower costs everywhere. This goes along with nuclear, with thorium, everything, cheap and abundant and free energy, and in life completely changing for humans. So I appreciate you being here, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.